Good morning, warriors. Happy Friday and welcome to the War of Art. Today I wanted to answer a few questions that I've been sent this past week from people on Instagram and Facebook. And I was actually really surprised that I got questions, but I did, so I felt like it was really important to answer some of these. So my first Q&A session, here we go. Hi Arlene, I recently lost my baby and I feel like I'm falling apart. How are you moving on? Well, first thing I want to say that I'm really sorry that you lost your baby. It's not a pain that I would wish on anyone, so my heart goes out to you, my heart, my love, my prayers, and reach out to me whenever you feel like you need to. I'm here to talk, for support in any way that you need. First off, I want to say I don't feel like I'm moving past it. I don't think losing your child is something that you move past. I think that is something that you move through. Past tends to give the idea that you move past it and it's behind you, but I think that dealing with the loss of your child is something that you continuously go through your entire life. You just start to deal with it a little bit differently and maybe in a little bit of a healthier way, but I don't think you ever move past losing your child. But how am I maneuvering in this world is pretty much what you're asking. I try and focus on my little everyday victories. Last year when we lost Elijah, it was difficult for me to do just everyday simple things like getting out of bed and eating and taking showers and washing my face, and I found myself doing things like writing to-do lists that had the most simple things on it, like taking a shower, like washing my face, like combing my hair, like putting on clothes, because at that point those things felt like tasks. They didn't feel like things that just came naturally. I had to learn how to live every day in life again. So it was really just about trying to focus on my little victories. And one of the things that I've started doing for this year is I keep an achievement jar next to my bed, and every night before I go to bed I write down the things that I've achieved today. And sometimes on my really bad days it's something as simple as getting up and going to the grocery store because I was able to get out of bed and do something. Or I spent some time with a friend because at that moment I couldn't do anything else, and that was what my energy allowed me to do. So I think that focusing on your little victories and the little things that you're doing to get yourself through the day is really what's going to help. I know that that's what's been helping me. So I hope that that kind of gives you a little bit of insight. Next question. What is your favorite memory of Elijah? I really like questions like this because I love talking about Elijah. He was funny and smart and he had an attitude, so it's great. But my best memory of Elijah, he was probably about 4 days old, and throughout my pregnancy my husband would sing to my belly, and I would always joke that Elijah hated him singing to him and would move around and try and get away from him. And so my husband and I were at the hospital and we're standing over his incubator and we're talking to him, and my husband starts singing to him. And I swear to you, this kid looked at him, rolled his eyes, and looked at me like, "Mama, could you get him to stop?" And I laughed and I said, "You know what? That's definitely my kid. My kid is one who would roll his eyes at you and be like, okay, it's time for you to be quiet." So that was my favorite memory of Elijah because I felt like he was a little tiny me. He felt like he had my personality, and that was really cool to see. So I love that moment. Okay, next question. Arlene, I'm so sorry about your loss. Thank you. I'm sure Elijah was beautiful. Who did he look like more, you or your husband? That's really hard to answer because Elijah looked like both of us. He was very much a hybrid baby. However, my ego is not going to allow my husband to win, so Elijah looked like me. He was me, he was tiny me, he looked like me, and as far as I'm concerned, that was my kid. He looked like tiny me, with a little bit of my husband's sprinkle in there, but mainly me. So yeah, it was me. Hello, Arlene. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. What made you decide to start this blog? A lot of things made me decide to start this blog. The main thing was that after Elijah passed away, I started getting a lot of messages from people saying that they had gone through something similar, telling me about their miscarriages, their children that they've lost, telling me about their issues with fertility or infertility, their issues with wanting to have children and feeling like they can't. And I realized that it was a much larger community than I understood before. Problems with fertility and childbirth and losing your child is not something that we talk about in this Instagram perfect world. It's always everything's perfect, everything's wonderful, and that's not real. So I think that being in that type of community makes people feel self-conscious about having these conversations, and they are afraid to be judged for having these conversations. So what I really wanted to do was just open up a support system for people like myself who have gone through these things or who are going through these things, and give them a safe place to talk about it, because the reality is that we deserve to be able to have these conversations. These are conversations that need to be had, and we deserve the support of our communities, and without that we won't heal. So for me, this is really about just offering support to other people as well as getting support for myself, because I don't think any of us can heal by going through this alone. This last question is a bit of a tough one. Hi, I've read a lot about how Black women face more issues with medical treatment in childbirth than any other race. Do you think that this had anything to do with what happened to Elijah? Like I said, that's a tough question. I don't think that had anything to do with what happened with Elijah. My doctors were amazing from the very beginning when I found out I was pregnant to when Elijah passed away. They were very thorough. They made sure that I understood everything that was happening. As much as they knew, I knew. They made it a point to be there for us, and not once during the entire process did I feel like they didn't care, that they weren't there for us, for me to talk to. They moved things around to get me in whenever I needed to, and to talk to me whenever I needed to. They always were there. But I will say this, I do know that it's a very real thing that in the medical community as a whole, that Black women are taken less seriously when it comes to their health issues and their treatment. I've read various studies where doctors have admitted that they feel that Black women, they feel like Black women are dramatic. They feel like Black women can tolerate more pain than other women. And I think that that's a very real thing. It may not have been my particular situation, but I think that it is a very real thing. And it's a very dangerous thing. And I think that in order for us to deal with these type of issues, we have to address the issue head on. And the reality is that happens. Black women are more likely to die during childbirth or to lose their children during and after childbirth than any other race in America, and that's just the reality. And so yeah, like I said, it was not my situation, I don't feel, but I offer my support to women who've gone through this. I am more than willing to be a voice for that and to fight for that, because Black women deserve to be treated well. They deserve to have their medical needs attended to on a timely fashion, and to be respected just like anyone else. And so, Black women, you have my support with this type of issue because it's very real. I didn't deal with it with my pregnancy, but I have dealt with it before, and it's awful to feel so dismissed and to feel so hurt when you're going through a situation like this, because being pregnant and having a child is a very dangerous and scary situation. So having a doctor that you can trust and who you feel like fights for you is really, really important. My heart goes out to those women. I think it's a really important topic to talk about, and I really appreciate all of the women who have sent in questions to me to answer, and I'm very grateful that you're being a part of this journey. So until next time, warriors.